So let's offer our respects to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, so what did we see in the previous class?
We saw the four like the four I just don't know how to say it. Like the four
Worshippers?
no, the four, like, to say so, like properties of Krishna.
Ah, okay. Yes. He's
The
the
four principles.
Supreme Controller.
Yeah, yes.
Ah, you remember that slide. Very nice. Okay. So he's a Supreme Controller, he's a Supreme Proprietor, then he's a Supreme Enjoyer.
An enjoyer.
And the fourth one?
Supreme enjoyer.
No. Controller, Proprietor, Enjoyer, and one more.
Controller?
No. Controller, Proprietor, Enjoyer.
Enjoyer, and
cause of all causes.
Cause of all causes. The four principal features of Krishna. Okay, very nice. Okay, what else did we see?
We saw like the extremes, the characteristics of the extremist, like who are mudas and who are mahatmas. And then we are going to see in detail today, right, about the people in between.
Yeah, so in verses 11 and 12, Krishna spoke about the mudas, the foolish people. And there we discuss how there are two kinds of impersonalists. And Krishna talks about mudas are ones of those foolish people who deride him when he comes in the human form. Then he went to the other extreme, 13 and 14, where he spoke about the Mahatmas, the Mahan Atmas, or the great souls, the pure devotees, the Ananya Bhaktas, who worship him out of pure love. And then in 15, he speaks about people who are in between, the Ekatvenas, Prathakvenas, and Vishvato Mukhams, impersonalists, demigod worshippers, and those who worship the universal form. Now we have to make one distinction which we didn't do in the previous class. that the impersonalists that he speaks about in between, and the impersonal that he speaks about Moodas, there are two kinds of impersonalists. So the Moodas are the Mayavadis. The Brahmavadis are not the Moodas. They do not deride the Lord. They do not offend the Lord. They are not atheists. They are not demons. So here, the in-between categories, Ekatvenas, Prathakvenas, and Vishwatamukhams, they are the Brahmavadis, not the Mayavadis. So Ekatvenas here are the Brahmavadis, and the Moodas are there refer to the Mayavadis. Okay, so this distinction we have to make between the two. Because after previous class, I was also thinking that, okay, here also impersonalists, there also impersonalists. So this is the distinction. Then when I carefully read, this is where we have to make I realized that we have to make a distinction here. Okay, so this we have to remember. Okay, so what else?
We saw like how a devotee doesn't depend on anything. Like he could be rich or poor. He could be of any nationality. I don't remember the other ones.
Yeah, so bhakti doesn't depend on any external factor.
Yeah.
Here. So he could belong to any varga, any varna, any ashram, any stage of life. He may have education or no, gender, financial status, nationality. Yeah. So bhakti doesn't depend on any external factor. It is sarva. What was that verse? Sarvatra, sarvatra, sarvada, sarvatra, sarvada. Yes, sarvatra, sarvada. Anytime, any place and any circumstances. There was this Bhagavatam verse here. It is sarvatra, sarvada. Okay. What else did we see? Okay, so before we begin today's session, let's invoke auspiciousness. Please repeat Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Actually, in the purport of 9.15, when we read, Srila Prabhupada gives is giving a certain order of the different kinds of worshippers. So he says the Mahatmas, they are the topmost because they are, of course, pure devotees, Kevala Bhaktas. Then below that come the four types of Sukritinas, which Krishna spoke about in 7.16. The four people who surrender to Krishna, right? But of course, they are surrendering to Krishna because they want something in return. So that's why they are below the Mahatmas. They are not pure devotees, but they are devotees in their own rights. So they are the Arthati, Jignyashu, and Jnanis. These are the four Sukritinas. Below that come these three types of Jnanis. Vishwatamukham, Prathakvena, and Ekatvena. But if we have to put them in order, then the Ekatvena are the lowest, above them are the Prathakvenas, and above them are the Vishwatamukhams. So these are the three levels of worshippers. Why are the three types of Gyanis of 9.15 below the Sukirtinas? Because they are worshipping Krishna indirectly. At least the Sukritinas are worshipping Krishna directly, although expecting something in return. But the Jnanis are worshipping Krishna, but indirectly they are worshipping Krishna. Therefore, the three types of Jnanis of 9.15 are below the four Sukritinas of 7.16. Of course, and at the lowest, they are not worshippers at all. So they do not come under the title of three types of worshippers because they are completely non-worshippers. So they are completely below any list of people that we want to make. They are the four Dushkritinas, people who never surrender to Krishna. Moodas, Naradhamas, Mayaya, Paharta Jnana, and Asuras. So these 4 Dushkritinas at the rock bottom. This is in the purport of 9.15. Very nicely Prabhupada has categorized them. You can read them offline. Read the purport offline. Okay, so let's start 9 points.
Aham kraturaham yagyah Swadhahamaham Mantrohamahame Aham agniraham hutam.
Who's going to read
Okay,
the translation and who's going to read the other text?
I'll read one. And who else can read?
Okay, and Harman, can you read the?
Which one do you want me to read? The
Anything,
translation on the-
whatever you feel inspired to read.
I can read the other text if you like.
Okay, fine.
Okay, I'll do the translation then.
All right.
Okay, translation. But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering.
So here in this section, actually 16, verses 16, 17, 18, and 19, Krishna is going to talk about the Vishvata Mukhams, those who recognize and worship the Lord in the universal form, or how to see him in various objects of the material world, how to see him in various objects of the material world. 16, 17, 18, and 19 is going to deal with that. So what is he saying here? It is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors. So Prabhupada writes a purport where he's explaining each of these features. Ritual he speaks about in the purport as a yajna called as a Jyotish Soma sacrifice, which is done for elevation to heaven. Okay, and then the sacrifice here, Prabhupada talks about the Pancha Mahayagyas. We will see them in detail. Then offering to the ancestors, when we do oblations or we do something for the Pitras, for those who have departed, that offering also when we do, that is also Krishna, he's saying. Then he says that he is the Aushadam, the healing herbs, which is done. Aushadam is a medicine that is prepared from different kinds of herbs. So he's saying that is also me. The transcendental chant, we know how Krishna has already said that he is Om, right? He is the sound vibration Om. He says that he is the butter and the fire and the sacrifice. Aham Agnir, Aham Bhutam. So everything Krishna says is me. Now let us see in detail. Let's read this purport from Prabhupada from 9.16.
Yes. The Vedic sacrifice known as Jyotisma is also Krishna, and he is also the Mahayagna mentioned in the Smriti. The oblations offered to the Pitloka, or the sacrifice performed to please the Pitraloka, considered as a kind of drug in the form of clarified butter, is also Krishna. The mantras chanted in this connection are also Krishna, and many other commodities are made with milk products for offering in the sacrifices are also Krishna. The fire is also Krishna because fire is one of the 5 material elements and is therefore claimed as the separated energy of Krishna. In other words, the Vedic sacrifices recommended in the Karma Kanda division of the Vedas are in total also Krishna. Or in other words, those who are engaged in rendering devotional service unto Krishna are to be understood to have performed all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas. So I read the 9.16 too.
Yes, please.
Theme and text 9.16. Theme: Vedic sacrifices of Karma Kanda division are in total also Krishna. Of all the components of sacrifice, only the important terms are clarified here. Those in devotional service are to be understood to have performed all sacrifices recommended in the Vedas.
Okay, so let's elaborate now on the Mahayagya, the Pancha Mahayagya. There are 5 sacrifices that are to be performed by householders to become free from unintentional sins and repay the Brahmanas, Devatas, ancestors, other living entities, and fellow human beings. So every householder, every grihastha is performing unintentional sins. We have some slaughterhouses. Every grihastha has some slaughterhouses in the house. And plus, we have to repay the debt to these 5 categories: the Brahmanas, Devatas, ancestors, the Pitras, other living entities, Bhutas, and other fellow human beings. So, first of all, let us discuss why are we indebted to the Brahmanas? What do they give us?
They teach us all the scriptures, right? The teachings of the scriptures. And everything.
Yes. So therefore, because we learn from the Brahmanas, it is because of them that we are able to learn the Shastra. They have preserved the knowledge for us, and we are able to learn from them also. Therefore, we are indebted to them. How do we repay them? How can we please them?
Seva.
Seva. Okay. So by doing seva, they are pleased.
By
What is the
listening to
best way? What is the best way to please them? They are most pleased when we ourselves study the Shastra and teach others the Shastra. So we can repay the debt to the Brahmanas by teaching and studying the Shastra. Okay, so that is the best way to please them, and that's how we can try and repay the debt to the Brahmanas. Devatas, the Devatas are pleased by
sacrifice.
yeah, when we do the yagyas, when we do the homas and oblations unto the fire, that is how we repay the debt to the devatas. Why do we owe the devatas? What do we receive from them?
Air, water, fire, everything that we need to breathe and live for.
Yes, exactly. So whatever we need, our material necessities are taken care of by the devatas. They are providing us sunlight, air, as you said, water, rain, etc. Then our ancestors. Why are we indebted to our ancestors?
Because we owe them.
So why do we owe them? What have we got from them?
Sanskar.
Okay. Before getting sanskar, what do you have got from them?
Birth.
Huh? What's that?
Birth, like because they were there, that's why we are here, right?
Ah, yes. So this body that we have got the opportunity to get this human body because of our ancestors. No, our parents, because our parents, they got married, they adapted the grihastha ashram. That's why we have got this human body. So our body, the current human birth that we have got, is because of our ancestors, our parents, their parents, like that. So that's why we are indebted to our ancestors, and we repay them by performing the Shraddha ceremony, by doing the Pitra Yagya, homage to the ancestors, Tarpana offering of water, and the Shraddha. This is the way that we repay the debt to our ancestors. You know, sometimes there are couples who are not able to conceive, and then they go to the doctor tells them that you are fit, completely fine. There is nothing wrong medically with neither the man nor the woman. So what is the problem? So you see, sometimes the Pandit, those who really know how to see well the birth chart, they will tell you that isme pind dosh. They have pind dosh. Pind dosh means what? When nobody in the family has performed the Shraddha ceremony for their ancestors, and the ancestors, they are suffering in hellish condition, and there is no chance of their coming out of this hellish condition because nobody is doing the Shraddha ceremony for them, then they curse the generation, and they say that now, no, you will not, the family will not able to proceed. You will not be able to bring forth other new generations because you are not doing what you are supposed to do for the previous generation. So they curse them. When we get children, that is by the blessing of our ancestors also. So that is called as Pindosh. Anyway, so the ancestors are pleased the departed ancestors, they are pleased by us doing the Shraddha ceremony for them. Then Bhuta Yagya. Why are we indebted to other living entities? Why are we indebted to other living entities?
Because they also provide us with food and water and everything.
Food and water. Okay, how?
So like if I purchase something from the market or anything, then for example, farmers, because if they wouldn't have grown anything, then how would I get?
Yeah, so that is the fifth category, what you're talking about. Nara Yagya, that is other human beings. Here we are talking about living entities who are not human beings. So that will come to later. Now we are talking about living entities, but not human beings here in the fourth category.
So is it like the same thing? Like, for example, cow, she gives us milk, right? So like every living entity like that gives us something.
Yes, exactly. We get our milk from the cow, then we get our wool from the sheep, right? And then we have the bees who are doing what is that process
Producing
called?
honey.
Yeah, collecting honey and all that. So we owe other living entities. And then, of course, Narayagya, what you said, how we depend on other human beings. Okay, but how do we repay? Coming back to 4, how do we repay the other living entities? By offering food. So that's why in India it's still traditional. We keep water for the birds, and we feed the other living entities. We go and feed the cows. We give bread to the pigeons or rice grains to the pigeons, like that. So by offering food to all creatures, we repay the debt to the other living entities. Now the last one, as Shreya said, we depend on the farmers, etc. For so we depend on other human beings because somebody is making our clothes, somebody is making our houses, somebody is constructing the house, office, right? So we depend on other human beings. And how do we repay the debt to them? By receiving them in our house and by feeding them. We repay the other human beings. So that is called as Atithi Yagya.
Yeah, like in
Also
I
called
don't
as
know.
Manushya Yagya. Sorry?
Yeah, like in India, I think every household does that, you know. So if somebody comes to repair something or anything, we always, you know, ask for like water or food or anything. Even the maids when they come, like, you know.
Yeah. Yes, this Indians are known for their
Hospitality. Yeah.
hospitality. Yeah, Indians are known for their hospitality. And yeah, we are taught that the guest should be treated with very respectfully, right? Atithi Deva Bhava, we say. But now what does Bollywood teach us? There was one movie, no? Atithi, tum kab jaoge.
Tum kab jaoge.
That's what Bollywood is teaching us now. But yeah, Indian culture, we respect our guests. Okay. So these are the Pancha Mahayagyas, and even the Manusmrita, Manu Samhita, we see how the householder has 5 slaughterhouses: the hearth, the grinding stone, the broom, the pestle, and the mortar, and the water vessel. Because we are using these 5 items, we have these 5 slaughterhouses and we are committing sinful activities. So we cannot escape this sin. And also we have to perform these 5 Mahayagyas in order to repay the debts of these 5 different personalities. So there are different codes here, and these 5 sacrifices that are given to these 5 personalities are called as Ahuta, Huta, Prahuta, Brahma Huta, and Prasita. Ahuta is that which is not offered in the fire. So what is not offered in the fire is the muttering. Is this when we speak, we are making an offering when we speak Vedic text. We are not speaking, we are not offering it in the fire, but we are just speaking. So it's an offering that is not going in the fires. That is called Ahuta. Then Huta is what is going in the fire, which is done in the Yagyas. Prahuta offered by scattering it on the ground. So when we feed the other living entities, that is Prahuta. Then Brahma Huta, offered in the digestive fire of the Brahmanas. So that is the food that we give to the guests. So Brahmanas or the guests which we receive in the house, the food that is in the digestive fire. So we are offering it in the stomach of the person. So that is called as Prasita. And Tarpana, which is Tarpana is what we offer to our ancestors. So these are the 5 sacrifices: Ahuta, Huta, Prahuta, Brahmahuta, and Prasita. Anyway, we don't have to be remembering all these things. It's just some extra information. Okay, now question. Is any householder exempt from doing these 5 yagyas?
No.
No.
You're sure? Does everybody agree?
Yes.
I think Krishna conscious devotees doesn't have to go through all that, because it, like when you do when you offer prasadam or anything, then it takes care of everything else, you know.
Right. So see, Prabhupada's purport in the last line, in this purport of 9.16, he writes, those who are engaged in rendering devotional service unto Krishna are to be understood to have performed all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas. So one who is rendering devotional service, then it is understood that he has already done all these Pancha Mahayagyas. Okay, so this is the answer to the question. The Prabhupada has answered this in the purport. Okay, let's go to 9.7.
पिताहमस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार ऋक्सामयजुरेव च
I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Sam, and the Yajur Vedas.
So see, all material relationships, father, mother, grandsire, Krishna says all these material relationships, all these people also, they are all parts and parcels of Krishna only. So he's saying, I am the father, I am the mother, I am the support, I am the grandfather. So normally on Father's Day, this quote will come out. I am the father of this universe, Krishna says. So happy Father's Day, like that. So they quote from this verse. So Krishna is saying, I am the father of this universe, the mother, he is the support and the grandsire. Then he says, I am the object of knowledge. In the upcoming chapters, you will see Krishna says that how from all the Vedas, Krishna is to be known. So he's saying, I am the object of knowledge, the purifier. Now, Krishna's name, hearing or chanting Krishna's name or his pastimes or reading about Krishna or hearing from Krishna itself has a purifying effect. So he says that he is the purifier. And the syllable Om. All the Sanskrit chants start with Om, and he says that he is that syllable Om. Then he says, I'm also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajur Vedas. How many Vedas do we have?
4.
How many do we have here? How many Krishna is mentioning? Only 3. So which one is missing?
Atharva.
Okay, so why does he not mention Atharva Veda?
That was my question.
Yeah, I knew somebody would come up with a question, so I have my answer ready. So here is the answer. Let's read.
The original Veda is Atharva Veda, later on divided into 4 dimensional divisional divisional understanding. The 3 Vedas, Rig, Sama, and Yajur, are specifically directed at the supreme yajnas and hymns to connect with God. Atharva Veda is all the other stuff: politics, military science, Vastu, medicine, Ayurveda, Varnashram, and so on. In other words, all the material sciences.
So originally it was one text, and then Vyasadeva, for the benefit of us, for our benefit, so that we can understand better, he has divided them, categorized them into, he put everything that was directly aimed at the Supreme into the Rig, Yajur and Samavedas, and all that was left over is in the Atharva Vedas. So that knowledge which is not directed at the Supreme is there in the Rig, Yajur and Samavedas, and whatever is left over like military science, Vastu Shastra or Ayurveda, all that etc. is in the Atharva Veda. Okay. All right, let's go to 9.18.
Gatirbharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasah Sharanam Sahran Prabhavah Pralayasthanam Nidhanam Bijamavyayam.
I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed.
So Krishna says that I am the goal. He has already established how his abode is the highest, no? Paramagati, he says. So Krishna says, I am the goal. Then he says, Bharta, he is the sustainer. How everything sustained is sustained because of Krishna's energies. Krishna spoke in chapter 7 how he has external energy and spiritual, external and internal energies, and all this material manifestation is composed of Krishna's external energy, and we belong to Krishna's internal energy. So anyway, the bottom line is everything is sustained by Krishna's energy only. So he says he's a sustainer. Then he says Prabhu, he's the master. Krishna will say that he is Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is the owner of all the planetary systems. So he says he is the master. Then he says he is the witness, Sakshi. How was he the witness? How was Krishna the witness?
He's sitting in our hearts, and then he's viewing everything that we hear, talk, or do. So he's saying in Bhagavad Gita that I am the witness. There are two birds sitting in a tree, and I'm witnessing the other bird doing everything that it's doing.
Yes, exactly. So as a super soul, as a Paramatma, he is witnessing all our activities. Then actually there are, Srimad Bhagavatam gives us a list of 13 witnesses in the 6th canto. So every activity that we do, there are 13 personalities who stand as the witness of everything that we are doing. I don't remember all 13. I don't know if somebody else here remembers, but a few are the air, the sky, the sun, the moon, the directions, the earth, the super soul. I got 7. I don't know, there are a few more, but in total there are 13 witnesses which witness all our activities. Okay. Then he says the abode. He's the abode, Nivasa. How is he the abode? The abode where we live is also Krishna, right? And the abode where Krishna lives, that is also coming from Krishna. Spiritual realm, material realm, everything is coming from Krishna. Then he says that he is the refuge. He is the Sharanam. We have to take his shelter for protection and for any of our any dangerous situation in our life. We need to take the shelter of his lotus feet. So Sharanam. Then Suhrit, he is the most dear friend because he accompanies us as the super soul, life after life after life after life. The moment we leave the material world, he's accompanying us as a super soul, and he's with us throughout our journey in the material realm, through all the different kinds of bodies that we may change, from the plant species, birds, animals, aquatics, even in the human body, until we reach the spiritual realm. Then he says that I am the creation and the annihilation. So we know how Mahavishnu, Krishna's expansion, when he breathes out, all the universes are created, and when he breathes in, all the universes are going inside his body. So destruction. He is both the creation and destruction and annihilation. Then Sthanam, he is the basis of everything. Krishna says in chapter 7 that everything rests on him like pearls are strung on a thread. Everything is resting on Krishna. So he's the basis of everything. Then he is the resting place. There is one name of Krishna which means that he is the resting place of all living entities. What name is that?
Was it a sky? We saw in like a previous verse, right? That the air or the wind rest in the sky, just like that. All the living entities rest in me.
Okay, but what name of Krishna means that he is the resting place of all living entities?
Oh, okay, you're asking them.
Ananta Shesha.
Not Ananta Shesha. Name of Krishna. Ananta Shesha is expansion of Krishna. Ananta is the name of Krishna, but that means he's unlimited. What name of Krishna means that he is the resting place of all living entities. Very famous name.
Use the first letter.
It begins with an N.
Nanda Gopal.
No. No. Na.
Narayan.
Naradoma.
Narayan, yes,
Ah.
Narayan. Because Narayan means what? Nara and Ayana. Nara means entities and Ayana means resting place. So Narayan means he is the ultimate resting place of all living entities. That's what Narayan means. Okay, and then he says Bijam Abhyayam. He is the eternal seed. Krishna will say in chapter 14, Aham Bija Pradaha Pita. He is the seed-giving father of all the living entities. So here he's saying Bijam Abhyayam. He is also the eternal seed. 19.
तपाम्यहमहं वर्षं निगृह्णामुत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदसच्चाहमर्जुन.
O Arjuna, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I'm immortality and I'm also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me.
So I give heat. How is Krishna giving us heat? Through the
Sunlight.
Sun.
sun god, yes, through Surya Dev. And I withhold and send forth the rain through
Indradev.
Indradev.
Lord Indra. I am immortality and I am also death personified. So for those who remember Krishna, he is immortality. Because what does he grant those who can remember Krishna at the time of death? Immortality. No more in the cycle of birth and death. But those who cannot remember Krishna, then for them he is death personified, because such people have to meet death again and again and again and again. So for them he is death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. Everything material and spiritual comes from Krishna. Krishna will say in the next chapter how aham sarvasva prabhava. He says in chapter 10, everything is emanating from Krishna. Aham sarvasva prabhava. Everything comes from Krishna. So therefore he's saying both spirit and matter, everything material and spiritual are in me. So with that, we come to the end of this section. Now we will see here in section 4, initially, he talks about demigod worship. And then in the second half of the section, he contrasts it with pure bhakti. So let's go.
त्रैविद्यामां सोमपाः पूतपापा यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान्.
Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious, heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights.
So those who drink the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. So what is the Soma juice? Soma juice is a special drink that is made available at the end of a yagya. And drinking this Soma juice helps one to go to heaven because it burns the sins. Just by drinking that Soma juice, one can burn some sinful reactions, and therefore it facilitates one attaining the heavenly planets. Or it can also, one accumulates punya karmas by drinking that soma juice. So therefore, it is made available at the end of a yajna. This soma juice should not be confused with the modern day alcoholic drinks, because the modern day alcoholic drinks, they do not elevate the consciousness, right? When one drinks alcohol, then one starts behaving like a madman. No, he cannot walk properly, cannot talk properly. He may go and hit himself against the wall, or he may crush somebody in an accident on the road. So alcoholism is a self-induced state of madness, and it does not elevate one's consciousness. But soma juice elevates one's consciousness. We should not confuse this. Sometimes people have this confusion. There was this person once, he told me that, the Bhagavad Gita says that if I drink alcohol, I can go and enjoy in heaven. So I said, no, it doesn't say that. And then he says, I can prove it to you. And then he showed me this verse, 9.20. He says, see, I have proof. So dangerous it is when people read the Gita without proper guidance. So anyway, what is Krishna saying here? Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra. So see the Sanskrit, Surendra Lokam. Surendra Lokam is the planet of Indra. One of Indra's name is Surendra. What does that name Surendra mean?
Something related to senses, maybe, because Indra, maybe it's similar to Indriya or something.
Okay, let's take it like this. What are the demons called in Sanskrit?
Asur,
Asur. What is the opposite of Asur?
Devi Devta.
Sur.
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 Yes, Sur, yes. So Surendra means?
The opponent. It means the opponent.
No. How can
Yeah,
Indra be the opponent of the Suras? He is the lord of the heavenly planet.
Yeah.
He is the
Lord.
lord of the heavenly planets, where the Devi Devtas, the celestial beings, they reside there in the planet of Lord Indra. Therefore, his name is called Surendra, or he is the lord of the heavenly planets, or the planets where the Suras are residing. Okay, so Surendra Lokam is another name for heaven. Okay, so here Krishna is talking about how they can enjoy godly delights. So here on the planet of Indra, here in heaven, they can enjoy for many years, actually 10,000 years of the demigod years. These living entities who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, they can enjoy there 10,000 demigod years. How many years on our planet makes for how much time in the demigod planet? What's the calculation?
In 1 year, there is 10,000 years here?
No.
No.
Our 6 months is equal to 12 hours of the demigod. So our 1 year is equal to 1 24-hour period of the demigods. And for 10,000 demigod years, these categories of people can enjoy in the heavenly planets. So they can enjoy for really large extended period of time. But then let's see what Krishna says in the next verse.
I had a question. So now we don't have so much use here, right? Like in Kali Yuga or anything.
So much what?
Somras or Soma juice.
No, because now we don't have such highly qualified brahmanas. That's the problem. Previously, the highly qualified brahmanas, they knew how to prepare the soma juice. They knew how to do the perfect yagyas, make the proper offerings. Nowadays, we don't have brahmins who can even recite the verses correctly. We don't have such qualified brahmanas anymore.
Right.
Mostly, I don't know, in some corner, maybe there is 1 or 2 or a handful of people who can still prepare. I don't know, but by and large, we don't see them around.
When I was reading Krishna book in, I think in one of the chapter, I don't remember, but it said like Balram he drank that Soma juice and he was intoxicated on it. So it's not equal to alcohol, of course, right?
No, it's not equal to alcohol. It does stimulate the senses. It does stimulate the senses, but that stimulation of the senses is authorized in the Shastras. It is something that is allowed because they deserve it. Okay, even in the heavenly
Okay.
planets, it is available. In heavenly planets, there is unlimited facility for sense enjoyment, right? There are also many beautiful women, and they are allowed to enjoy. That's why when in the Mahabharata also, when Arjuna went to the heavenly planets, um, there was this Apsara who approached him for enjoyment, and he says that I cannot indulge in this because I'm coming from the earthly planet, and for us it is a sin. But she says, no, there is no sin, and she has been with his ancestors in the past. So Arjuna said that I see you as my mother. But she says, no, these rules and regulations do not apply to us here in heaven. And it's not sinful. It is not a sinful activity. So both are correct. Okay, but then she curses him because he refused. Because, when a woman approaches a Kshatriya's duty is to satisfy her also. Now that is also there. Arjuna is also right and she is also right. So both are correct. But, he is adhering to his rules and regulations and she's adhering to her rules and regulations. So in the heaven, they are allowed, they are given that facility to enjoy because it's like a prize that they get for having accumulated so much
Good deeds in the material world. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, 21.
एतं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते.
When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death.
So, see, in 20, Krishna is saying that by studying the Vedas, drinking the Soma juice, you seek the heaven and you're worshipping me only indirectly. You're purified of your sinful reaction. You take birth on the heavenly planets where you can enjoy. Very nice. But here in 21, then Krishna is talking about the downside. You can enjoy vastly. There is a lot of sense pleasure. But what happens? There is repeated birth and death. So they return to this mortal planet again. So after many years of enjoying there, they return to this earthly planet here. Because here in the heavenly planets, we only exhaust our karma. See, the results of their pious activities are exhausted. That's why the higher and the lower planetary systems are called as bhoga bhumis, where we exhaust our karma. Only the earthly planet is called as the karma bhumi, where we can accumulate karma. So we are now in our karma bhumi, where we can accumulate karma. But higher and lower planetary systems, we are only exhausting. So Krishna is saying that you go to the heaven, but there the results of your pious activities are exhausted. And when it is exhausted, then you return to the mortal planet again. And then what do we achieve? Repeated birth and death. Let's read this.
Yes. Disadvantage of heavenly planets as the goal comes back to Earth, cycle of birth and death after exhausting pious deeds. Analogy, Ferris wheel compared to cycle of birth of death. Solution, do not seek higher material happiness, seek higher than material happiness. Seek higher than make spiritual world as your goal.
So Srila Prabhupada gives this analogy of the Ferris wheel to help us understand the cycle of birth and death. You can see in the lower picture on the lower right side of your screen, the cycle of birth and death from those aquatics to animal species and then going to the land and, the human beings, birth and death. Continuously, it's going on and on like the Ferris wheel, up, down, up, down, up. down. So what is the point in going to the heavenly planets, as again we have to come down? So the goal should be to seek higher than material happiness, not seek higher material happiness. 22.
अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्.
But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
So this is a very faith-building verse for devotees of Krishna. Because see what he says, I carry what you lack and I preserve what you have. For those who worship me with devotion, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So see here Krishna, actually in this section, he's talking about demigod worship or karma kanda activities. And in the middle of that, he puts in this verse. Just like how a parent, if there is a child who's asking the parent for something, and the parent, is telling the child, yes, it is good, that's fine. But you know what? This is a better option for you. So like that, Krishna is saying, yes, demigod worship, you can go to the heavenly planets and you can enjoy. But you know what? If you worship me with devotion, then I carry what you lack and I preserve what you. So right in the middle of this demigod worship, he's bringing in this verse. Remember, this section that we are reading is the essence of the essence of the essence of all Vedic literature. Why? The essence of all Vedic literature is the Bhagavad Gita. The essence of the Bhagavad Gita is in the middle 6 chapters. And the essence of the middle 6 chapters is chapter 9 and 10. So see how Krishna, even though he's talking about demigod worship here, he's talking about again pure devotional service. He's saying, if you worship me with exclusive devotion, then I carry what you lack and preserve what you have. So generally, we have two fears. Every human being has two fears. One is what? We don't want to lose what we possess. And two is, in the future, when we require something, that what if what we require is not available to us in the future? And that's why these insurance companies, they make so much money out of these two fears that we have. So we insure our houses, our homes, our stores, our warehouses against disaster, fraud, theft, etc. And when they have these schemes, health insurance and old age. So if we fall sick when we are old and we don't have enough money that treatment may require in the future, we want to assure that it is available, because we have the fear that we may require it in the future and we may not have that product. So therefore, these are the two fears that we have, and Krishna is assuring these exact two things in this verse: provision and protection. So when he says, I carry what you lack, he's assuring us provision. And when he says, I preserve what you have, he's assuring us protection. So real life insurance comes from Krishna. And he's showing his personal intervention and personal care for his devotees. Personal intervention and personal care. Because what is the word that Krishna uses here? Vahami aham. I carry. Krishna is saying, I carry. He's not saying that I send an agent or I get it done through someone else. He's saying, I personally carry. So with regard to this, there is a nice story that Srila Prabhupada tells us about Arjunacharya. Let's hear from Prabhupada himself in this short video.
There was a great devotee. So when he was writing commentaries on this particular verse, Anannachintantamang Jidana Purjupasate Tesang Nittavijuktanam Yogachemang Mahamyaham. he saw that Tesam Nityavijittanam Yogakyamam Bahamiyaham. The Lord says that I myself take the burden and take the load on my head, and I deliver that to my devotees what they require. He doesn't require to go outside. I myself go and deliver the goods, whatever he requires. This is written here. Now that's Arjuna Acharya. When he was writing commentaries, he thought, how is that? The Lord will come himself and deliver the goods? Oh, it is not possible. He might be sending through some agents. So he wanted to cut Bahami Aham. I bear the burden and deliver. He wrote in a way that I send some agent who will deliver. So that Arjuna Acharya went to take bath, and in the meantime, two boys, very beautiful boys, they brought some very nice food stuff, very large, in large quantity. And in India, there is a process to taking two sides burden on the bamboo, just like a scale. It is balanced. So these two boys brought some very highly valuable food stuff and grains and ghee and this thing. And his wife was there. And the boy said, my dear mother, Arjuna Acharya has sent these goods to you. Please take delivery. And oh, you are so nice boy, you are so beautiful boys, and he has given, and Acharya is not so cruel. How is that? He has given so much burden to you, and he is not kind enough. Oh, I was not taking, just see, he has bitten me. Here is his cane, mark. His wife became very much astonished that Acharya is not so cruel. How he has become so cruel? So she was thinking in that way. Then all right, my dear boy, so come on, and gave him shelter. And no, I shall go because Arjuna Acharya didn't come, he will chastise us. No, you sit down, take food stuff. He prepared food stuff, and then they went. And when Arjuna Acharya came back, then he saw that his wife is eating, because it is the system of an Indian family that after the husband has taken the food, the wife will take. So they don't take together. After the family members, the boys and the husband is sumptuously fed, then the housewife takes. So Arjuna Acharya, oh, you are taking food? Why? What is that? His wife said that, Acharya, you have become so much cruel nowadays. What is that? There are two boys, very nice boys, they brought so many good stuff. You loaded on their head, and they denied to take it, and you have bitten them. I just said, no, I have never done this. What shall I do? Then she described, was such a nice, beautiful boy. Then Arjuna Acharya understood that because I wanted that God does not deliver, so he has delivered these goods. And because I cut these alphabets that he does not give personally, so he has shown as beating mark. There is an incident in southern India of Acharya. That story is there. Here, the Lord says that I personally deliver. So, those who are in Krishna consciousness, those are actually busy in the matter of discharging their duties as a Krishna conscious person, they may be assured that so far their living condition is concerned, or their comforts of life is concerned, that is assured by the Lord. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So Krishna says, he's assuring, I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Material well-being automatically follows spiritual well-being. Material well-being automatically follows spiritual well-being. Okay, so here we have some examples. Our Nama Acharya Haridas Thakur was not allowed to enter the Jagannath Puri temple because he was born in a Muslim family. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya told him to sit under a tree and chant his rounds. So every day he would sit under a tree and chant his 300,000 names of God. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would personally carry Jagannath Prasad for him from the Jagannath temple to the spot where he was sitting. Even today, if you go to Jagannath Puri, you can go and visit this place where he would sit and chant his rounds in Puri, and Lord Chaitanya would bring him the food. That the tree under which he chanted is also there. The tree is completely hollow from the inside, but still the leaves are green and fresh. Okay. So this is one example. And then Brigari. Brigari was a merciless hunter. He would half kill the animals because he would derive great pleasure from half killing them and seeing them suffer and suffer and suffer before they would finally die. Narada Muni was passing by the forest once and he sees Brigari and he asks him, "Why are you killing?" So he says, "Why? Well, I have to kill because I have to do it for a living. How will I support my family, my wife, my children, my parents?" He says, "Okay, but why are you half killing the animals? Why don't you just kill them in one shot? That is one way of killing." So he says, "No, I want to half kill because I derive great pleasure from killing," he says. He tells Narada Muni. So then Narada Muni, of course, he's the Shakya Vesha avatar. He's empowered to preach. So he tells them, "All right, why don't you go back to your family and ask them if they would partake in the sinful reactions. You're killing, you said, to support your family, but would your family members share the karmic reaction that you are taking by killing all these animals?" So he goes and he does that, and then none of the family members, neither his parents nor the children nor his wife, are ready to share the karmic reactions. So then he realizes that, then he comes back to Narada Muni and then he tells him that, "Okay, but if I want to give up, I realize, but how will I maintain myself and my family?" So that time Narada Muni says, "Don't worry, once you take shelter of the Lord, you will not be deprived of any necessities. Whatever you need will come to you." So he gave up his profession, he gave up hunting, he became a devotee. And then he became such a stalwart devotee, he was so conscious that he doesn't want to hurt other living entities, that the next time when Narada Muni went to visit him, there were some ants on the path. So and Brigari did not want to step on those ants and kill those ants unknowingly. So he puts the ants aside carefully. You can see in the picture he's doing that, so that the ants are not stepped on and do not die. So that's the great change that was brought about by the mercy of Narada Muni. So anyway, coming to Mrigari's necessities, once he became a devotee, then in India it's the culture that there is a saintly person, then people take some food stuff to him. So the people in the village, they were bringing in food stuff for him, and they were bringing so much that he had much more than what he required. Okay, this incident from the Mahabharata. Let's read.
When Durvasa Muni told the Pandavas that he, along with his 10,000 followers, will have food at their house, the Pandavas were in great anxiety. They were living in the forest and had nothing with them to feed their guests. Draupadi had Akshay Patra, a divine pot, which could supply unlimited food. But once she finished her food, then the supply of food used to stop for that time period. And all of them, including Draupadi, had finished their meal. It was a great crisis. Draupadi remembered Lord Krishna, and he immediately appeared. In that divine pot, just a grain of rice was left, and the Lord ate it. And as soon as Krishna ate it, everyone's hunger got satisfied, including that of Durvasa Muni and his thousands of followers.
So this is from the Mahabharata. Okay. Let's read this article by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. We cannot hear you, Harman.
Yes. BG 9.22 answers the question that people often ask. If I devote myself to God, will He provide for my needs? But to understand his provision, we need to first understand his vision. Krishna's provision for us is to attain eternal joy. That means is bhakti yoga, which is the easiest way to rise from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. Additionally, while we are in material existence, he provides for our material needs too. When he provides heat, light, air, water, and food for all living beings, even those not devoted to him. He, won't he provide for his devotees? He definitely will, as the Bhagavad Gita 09.22 assures. But just as a doctor may temporarily restrict patients from some food to expedite treatment, sometimes Krishna may temporarily withhold some things from us to expedite our spiritual recovery.
So expedite means to speed up. So sometimes Krishna may withhold some things for us to speed up our spiritual recovery, for our own spiritual well-being, because we have to undergo some purificatory process. Still, hearts are dirty, we need to purify it. So therefore, Krishna may withhold, may temporarily not give us a few things. Just as how a doctor restricts patients from taking a certain kind of food to speed up the treatment process. So we have some more examples. This is Krishna and the fruit seller. The fruit seller, out of love, gave him all the fruits in her basket, although Krishna at that time had nothing to give her. No, he said, okay, I will give you some grains, because he had seen how the elders in the house gives some, when they take purchase something, that they give some grains in return. So he went to get grains from his sack in the house, but by the time he came out, he hardly had anything in his hand. So still the fruit seller gave him all the fruits out of love. But when she came home, she saw that her basket of fruits was full of precious jewelry and stones and gems. Who is this personality? Kubja, yes, Kubja. So Kubja was a hunchback woman in the kingdom of Kamsa, and she was carrying sandalwood paste for the king, for Kamsa, but she lovingly offered it to Krishna without expecting anything in return. So Krishna then cured her of her hunchback. He stepped on her toe, and then he raised her chin, and then he straightened her out. So she got her nice, beautiful form, because she offered that sandalwood paste to Krishna out of love. Although it was actually meant for the king, Kamsa. She did not fear Kamsa. Whom are we referring to here?
Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruv. So what did Dhruv get? He got an entire planet. And what is the speciality of this planet? Dhruv planet is in the material realm or in the spiritual realm?
Spiritual what?
Okay. It is a spiritual planet. It is a spiritual planet in the material
world.
Yes, it's in the material realm, but it is a spiritual planet. When everything is destroyed, the 14 planetary systems, everything is destroyed, but the planet of Dhruv remains. That's the speciality of this Dhruv planet. Because what was Dhruv's initial desire? Initially, he worshipped the Lord out of a material desire. No, his desire was, I want a planet greater than that of Lord Brahma. So Krishna gave him, because Brahma's planet is the highest planet in the material realm. How is Dhruva's planet better than Brahma's planet? Because it is eternal. Brahma's planet is not eternal. Then we have Bali Maharaj, who sacrificed everything, all his possessions, his kingdom, his life also to Vamanadev. But what did Vamanadev give him in return? An entire planet again. Sutala is where Bali Maharaj resides. But not only he gave him that planet, he also stands guard. Vamanadev personally stands guard. He is the doorkeeper of the planet of Bali Maharaj. And once Ravan attacked Sutala, he wanted to capture this planet, but Vamanadev kicked him with the tip of his toe, and he sent him running several yojanas away. Who's this?
Putana.
Putana gave poisoned milk to Krishna, but what did she get in return? She got the status of Krishna's mother in the spiritual realm. She is respected as much as Krishna's mother is. Okay, so that's her status. She is given that status in the spiritual realm because although she gave poison milk, but Krishna saw that she offered him her milk. So because Krishna sucked from her breast, he sees that, okay, she gave me her milk, so she is given the status of his mother in the spiritual realm. Okay, 9.23.
येऽप्यन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्यविधिपूर्वकम्.
Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worships only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way.
So see what Krishna is saying. Anya Devata Bhakta. Those were the devotees of the other devatas, other gods. And they are worshipping them with Shraddhaya, with faith. They are worshipping them. Actually, Krishna says, Te api mam eva kaunteya. Actually, they are worshipping me only. But how are they worshipping? Krishna says, avidhi purvakam. They are worshipping me in a wrong way. Avidhi purvakam. So when we worship demigods, Krishna says, the worship is coming to me only. They are worshipping Krishna only, but they are worshipping in a wrong way. Avidhi purvakam. 24.
अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेनातश्च्यवन्ति ते.
I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down.
So in 23, he said, those who are worshiping the demigods are worshiping me only, but they're worshiping me in a wrong way. So what is the fate of such people? What is the destiny? What happens to such people? Krishna explains in 24. What is he saying? They do not recognize my true transcendental nature and they fall down. They fall down, Krishna says. Why would demigod worshippers fall down?
Because they cannot give us liberation, nor should the bhakti to notice Krishna speak.
Yes, yes. So the demigods themselves are temporary. Their abodes are temporary. Their benedictions or blessings, whatever we get from them, that is also temporary. So that is not eternal. They cannot give us liberation, right? That only Krishna can give us. What name of Krishna means that he is the giver of liberation?
Govinda?
No, not Govinda. Govinda has other meaning. Govinda means, what does Govinda mean? He's a well-wisher of the cows. He gives pleasure. I mean, he gives pleasure to the cows. He gives pleasure to land. And he gives pleasure to the senses. These are the three meanings of Govinda. What name of Krishna means that he is the giver of liberation? It starts with an M.
Madhav.
No, not Madhav.
Madhusudan.
No, Madhusudan means he's a killer of the demon Madhu.
Madhav.
No, not Madhav. What does Madhav mean? Madhav means, does that mean he is the husband of the goddess of fortune?
Mohan.
No, not Mohan. It starts with an M-U.
Madhu.
No. Mu, M-U, Mu.
Mukunda.
Mukunda, yes, Mukunda. So the name Mukunda means giver of liberation. Okay. So what does Krishna say here? I am the only enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices. So he's the only enjoyer. We cannot enjoy independently from Krishna. And he says that he's a master of all sacrifices because any yajna we do, ultimately the offerings of the yajnas are going to Krishna only. So he's saying he's a master of all sacrifices. But those who do not recognize my true transcendental form, those who are worshipping the demigods, they are, although their worship is coming to me, they themselves, they fall down. 25.
Yanti devavrata devan Pitrunyanti pitruvrataha Bhutani yanti bhuteja Yanti madhyajinopi mam.
Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me.
So see, previously Krishna said that those who worship the demigods, they are worshipping me only indirectly. So the worship is reaching Krishna, but the worshipper is not reaching Krishna. Therefore, because where is the worshipper of the demigod going? They are going to the demigods. Krishna says, those who worship the demigods take birth amongst the demigods. So when we worship the demigods, the worship goes to Krishna, but the worshipper does not go to Krishna. Those who worship the demigods take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. So worship of the demigods is in the sattva guna, mode of goodness. Worship of the ancestors is in the mode of passion. Worship of the ghosts and spirits is in the mode of ignorance. And worship of Krishna is in the transcendental mode. Let's read this.
When water is offered to the river, the water itself will go the ocean, but that does not mean the worshipper goes to the ocean. Similarly, the worship of the demigods reaches Krishna, but the worshipper doesn't.
Okay. So the worship of the demigods reaches Krishna, but the worshipper does not reach Krishna. So it's not the same thing. Sometimes people say, oh, why do you want to follow all these things? Just eat, enjoy, make merry. Ultimately, everybody has to die. Ultimately, the destination for everybody is the same. So why don't you make hay when the sun shines? Why don't you just enjoy when you're still youthful? No, but destiny is not the same. The destination is not the same for everyone. The destination changes. Externally, everybody is dying, but after that, the journey continues, right? The soul continues on its journey. So the destination is the same.
They say
Worship of
YOLO.
sorry?
You know, they say YOLO, YOLO. You only live once. Have you heard of that phrase? Yeah.
Oh, I was not aware of that. YOLO, is it? You live only.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a millennial kind of a word, YOLO.
Okay. Okay. So worship of any form or any path does not lead to the same goal. We learn this from this verse in the Bhagawad Gita. Now, previously, we have learned how any bona fide religion will take you from a certain point in your journey towards your supreme goal, which would be Krishna. Will take you from a certain point to point A to point B or C or D or E or F, right? But Sanatan Dharma or Krishna consciousness is at a point that is closest to the goal. That's why Prabhupada said that if you chant 16 rounds and follow the 4 principles, you go back to Godhead in this lifetime. But that doesn't mean that all other religions are bogus. No, there are any religion that teaches love of God as the goal, that is a bona fide religion. But in some religions, the surrender is more. In some religions, the surrender is less. Because there are different paths which are explained by other bona fide personalities, other messengers of God, or Jesus Christ said that he's the Son of God. So they have preached according to time, place, and circumstances. We cannot call all other religions as bogus. No, any religion that teaches love of God as the goal is a bona fide religion. But and as I said, they preach according to time, place, and circumstances. So when the level of surrender is less, then it can take us, say, from point A to point B or point C, like that. But Sanatana Dharma, Krishna consciousness is closest to the goal. So at the end of this lifetime itself, we can reach our goal. Other religions where the surrender is not so much, where there is still attachment to sense gratification, then it will take some more lifetimes. So they are further away from the goal. Now here we are learning that different worshippers will go get different destinations. So it may appear to be contradictory, but how do we understand this? We have to understand that on the right side of the chart, we are talking about on that path, on that green line, only those religions which are preaching pure love of God as the goal. Here somebody may worship a particular demigod, but not out of love. Maybe he's worshiping the demigod because he wants something else in return, because of his material needs, or he's worshiping the Lord out of fear. One may worship out of fear, or one may worship out of greed, expecting something in return. There is some greed in the heart. One may worship out of duty. Okay, I do it because it is my duty, so I just do it and be done with it. But there is no love factor in that duty. And fourth and highest is, of course, when we worship out of love. So on the left side, we are not talking about worshipping out of love, pure love. There may be other factors, but on the right side, what is taking us towards the goal is only love of God. Okay, so this is how we reconcile this seeming contradiction. So there are three levels of existence: terrestrial, celestial, and transcendental, earthly, heavenly, and spiritual. Terrestrial existence on this earthly planet where we are right now is material level of existence. And when we, if we desire to go to heaven, then we are desiring a higher material level of existence, because even the celestial planets, heavenly planets, are also in the material realm. So from one material level of existence, we are going to higher material level of existence. That's all. There is sense gratification here, and there we have better facility for sense gratification. But higher than celestial level of existence is transcendental, spiritual. That is higher than material level of existence, because that is completely spiritual. Okay, so these are the three levels of existence. We can see here on our chart on the right side, the 14 planetary systems. So here in Burloka is the material level of existence. In the higher planetary systems, in the upper planets, is higher material level of existence. But when we go beyond this, beyond the universe, you see the chart on your left side. We go beyond the universes, beyond Brahma Jyoti, then we Vaikuntha, Goloka. In Vaikuntha, Goloka, of course, is a spiritual realm, and that is higher than material existence. So in the heavenly planets, one doesn't add to one's credits. One only exhausts the credits. As we discussed earlier, the earthly planets are called as Karma Bhumi, but heavenly planets are called as the Bhoga Bhumi, because we only exhaust our credits there. Once the credits run out, we have to come back. Let's try to understand this with an example. Let's read this.
One can sit on an iceberg and stay safe in the midst of a turbulent ocean, but as soon as the iceberg melts, one is tossed into it again. In the same way, one can enjoy in heavenly planets as long as one's good karmas last. Once they are exhausted, one has to again return to the turbulent terrestrial regions.
So if we are in the middle of an ocean, the comfortable place, if we are in the middle of a turbulent ocean, the comfortable place would be to go and sit on an iceberg, right? But there would be a certain point when ultimately that iceberg is going to melt and we are going to be tossed into that turbulent ocean. So enjoying in heavenly planets is like sitting on that iceberg. As long as we are sitting there, it's fine, it's very comfortable. But as soon as the iceberg melts, which means as soon as our credits are exhausted, then again we are going to be tossed into the cycle of birth and death. So this is the example this example also is from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. So don't seek higher material happiness, seek higher than material happiness. That is intelligence. Let's read this.
Yes, you are part and parcel of the Supreme Proprietor Krishna. Therefore, you deserve eternal, everlasting happiness. By setting for anything that is less eternal is foolish. It is going for something lesser than the best. Do not cheat yourself. Do not deprive yourself. Do not underutilize your potential. Do not sell yourself short. If the best is possible for you, why accept something less?
So we are parts and parcels of Krishna. We belong to Krishna's superior energy. And if we are going to settle for something less, if we are going to settle for something cheap, right? Going to heaven is settling for something less, because we are eternal. We don't have to go through this painful death, old age, disease, again birth. These are all painful conditions of material existence. We don't have to go through all this because we are parts and parcels of Krishna. So when we settle for something less, better material happiness, or better sense enjoyment facilities in heaven, then we are underutilizing our potential. We are selling ourselves cheap. So let's not cheat ourselves and deprive ourselves. Why to accept something less when we deserve something higher? Don't seek comfort of a temporary situation. Seek comfort of a spiritual destination. In this picture on the right, this entity is being hugged and embraced by Krishna after he has returned to the spiritual realm. And then you see all the residents of Goloka are also there to welcome him back to the spiritual world. Actually, there is a book called Brihat Bhagavatamrita, which describes the journey of a person called Gopa Kumar. And this book describes how Gopa Kumar passes through so many realms, and finally he reaches Goloka, and then Krishna welcomes him, and Krishna tells him that, where have you been? I have been waiting for you for so long, and I was missing you all along. Okay, and then Krishna embraces him, and all the residents of Goloka also come to embrace him. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of this section. Let's read the flow of these verses.
Yes. 20. Demigod worshippers also worship me. 21. Demigod worshippers fall down and lose whatever they have gained. 22. Those who worship me with exclusive devotion never lose anything. Question. Why this difference when demigod worshippers are also worshipping you? 23. Demigod worshippers worship me but in an unauthorized way. Question. What is unauthorized? 24. They do not know me as the supreme Yajna and Prabhu, enjoyer and master. 25. Different worshippers get different destinations.
Okay. So we'll continue in the next class. We'll stop for now. Srila Prabhupada. Jai.
Jai.
Does anybody have a question?
For me at least, no.
Okay.
I had a question regarding the Vedas, which we did, that Veda shloka. So where we saw that, that Atharva Veda is of political science and Ayurveda. But in previous verse, doesn't like Krishna says that I am that medicinal herb as well? Like if
Yeah,
everything
so
is everything,
yes,
then why
yes,
not?
yes. Yes, actually everything is Krishna, no. Whether it is a material medicine or spiritual medicine, whatever it is, everything comes from Krishna. Nothing can exist independently of Krishna. So
Then why not Atharva Veda too,
so why not Atharva Veda? Okay, because that is not connecting us directly from God. So there is materialistic religion also. Materialistic religion is there. It is religion, but it is materialistic because we are expecting something in return. It is not spiritual. It is not pure. It is not connecting us directly with the Supreme. So there is material religiosity in Atharva Veda.
Atharva Veda. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. How are you, Mataji?
Shishi Radha Gopinath ki jai. Mataji, pray for my daughter. Today is the get together in our that is Srinathji temple. We worship before that Shishi Laddu Gopal. So there is a get together because nowadays nobody knows each other. Pray for my daughter, whatever good for her.
Oh, for her wedding, for
Yes.
proposal.
Yes.
Okay. So let's chant the Hare Krishna mantra together and pray to Lord Krishna that whatever is good for her well-being should come out nicely. Okay. So let's chant Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram Ram,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Thank you,
Let's do it
Mataji.
2 more times. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram, Hare Hare.
She started to run 4 to 5 rounds. She's doing Ekadasi also, hearing whole day Krishna Katha, sitting near next to Sri Jagannath. She said, I don't want to sit in my room and working. It is still work from home. From January, they has to go for the office. So she's hearing all the lectures. When evening time I hear a lecture, she come and she hear regularly here at 9 o'clock. Me and just teach H.H. Pataka Maharaj Vani.
Jai. Excellent. Very nice. So whatever Krishna does will be for her spiritual well-being, Mataji. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Shivani, nice to see you back. Shri Hari
Yeah.
Radha Mataji, nice to see you back. Today also you joined a little late, I think. So maybe next time you can read for us. We are missing your sweet voice also.
I have so much fun reading, but I just forget to punch in.
Okay.
Krishna reminds me each time. Anyways, thank you so much.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Happy Gita Jayanti to everybody.
Yes, Gita Jayanti, the big one for us, especially, for our students of the Bhagavad Gita. Tuesday is the appearance day of our Bhagavad Gita. Also, Vaikuntha Ekadasi. And ISKCON is really going all out this time to distribute as many books as possible. Now, all the devotees are really charged up for Sankirtan. And this is the time to sponsor or give the gift of a Bhagavad Gita to people as much as we can. Yes, happy Gita Jayanti to everyone. Thank you, Shivani Mataji.
Mataji, please bless me. I have started one of my desires is to distribute books, and I yesterday I went to 2 stores, talked to the owners. Please bless me that I can distribute as many as possible.
Jai, let's chant for Shivani Mataji's book distribution. Hare 3 times.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama.
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
So this is a service that is very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. He was always very enthused, and he would always encourage his disciples to distribute his books. We never know how and when somebody's life may be changed. No, so very nice service, Shivani Mataji. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you for your blessings and all of your prayers. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Varun was with us in the class, but I think he logged out now. Otherwise, we would have requested him to sing for us, but he has logged out. I think now he's.
Vrinda Mataji, can you sing something, please? Some
Yeah,
bhajan.
Vrinda Gopika Mataji, please.
You sing now, Mataji, we follow you.
Huh? I don't know
You
who sings here. I can never sing. Somebody else, whoever feels enthused, please.
Yes,
I'm
Mataji.
not even a bathroom singer, so I cannot even sing there.
Come on, Vrinda Gopika Mataji.
Namo
You know so many-
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutala Sati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namne Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutala Samute Radhanath Maharaj iti namne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Dhanna Mora Nityananda Pati Mora Gaura Chandra Prana More Yugala Kishora Dhana Mora Nityananda Pati Mora Gaura Chandra Prana More Yugala Kishora Advaita Acharya Bala Gadadhara Morakula Narahari Vilas Ae More Advaita Acharya Bala Gadadhara Morakula Narahari Vilas Ae Mora Vaishnavera Padadhuli Tahe Mora Snana Keli Vaishnavera Padadhuli Tahe Mora Snana Keli Tarpan More Vaishnavera Nama Tarpan More Vaishnavera Nama Dhana Mora Nityananda Bhati Mora Gaura Chandra Prana More Yugala Kishora Vichara Koriya Mane Bhakti Rasa Swadane Madhyastha Sri Bhagavata Purana Vichare Rakoriya Mane. Please forgive me. Vichara Koriya Mane Bhakti Rasa Asvadane Madhyastha Sri Bhagavata Purana Vaishnavera Uchchistaha Tahe Mora Mananischa Vaishnavare Namate Ullasa Dhana Mora Nityananda Dhana Mora Gaura Chandra Prana More Yugala Kishora Vrindavane Chabutara Tahe Mora Mana Ghera Vrindavane Chabutara Tahe Mora Mana Ghera Kahe Dina Narottama Dasa Dhana Mora Nityananda Pati Mora Gaura Chandra Prana More Yugala Kishora Prana More Yugala Kishora Prana More Yugala Kishora Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai ji, Sanam Mata ji ki jai, Jai Pataka Maharaj jai, Shri Radhanath Maharaj ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Panch Tattva ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, all Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Such a sweet voice, such a sweet bhajan. Very nice combination, just like diamond and ring. Perfect. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, what else do we have to discuss?
Mercy of Srila Prabhupada Mataji, I cannot go outside to give Shri Bhagavad Gita's distribution because Prabhuji don't like it. Indian husband is very typical. So what I will do, Mataji, I prepare a lots of prasadam, methi thepla, pulao, pickles also at home, salad, and pack it. And I stand near my home, next to my home, and some Vaishnava will pick. And it is very near. I'm staying 2-3 minutes far from the train, Goregaon train. So they will pick. So every day this is my seva because they are not allowed to go outside. And here I'm staying alone. And Haji Ram Prabhuji and Adi Gadadhar Prabhu said alone not to go for a book distribution. So we go before 2 years in a standing Patel outside the Patel brothers, and after the Sunday class, but not given a much time for distribution, Mataji.
Okay,
Be
okay.
honest.
No, so what? Anyway, you're distributing prasad. You're a very good cook, Mataji. So that is also so useful, no? So the devotees, they take this prasad to give to when they are distributing books, or the Vaishnavas,
There is a
they
50
consume it.
Vaishnava group. They are standing in a Mumbai, Andheri, or here in a zone wise like Alpha Rita and the different zone. So those who are distributing books, they are like working from morning 11 to 4:30, because here only Saturday Sunday we have holiday. Everybody is working. So for devotee and for outside people, make a chickpeas laddu. Those who are taking Shishi Bhagavad Gita Seva, for them chickpeas laddu. Magas,
Wow.
magas.
Jai. So much Vaishnava seva you are doing, Mataji. Great. Very nice. Thank you so much. Okay. What else do we have to discuss? So next week, I will be having my home program. So there will be no class. Oh, I can see Neela Mataji. Thank you for joining us, Neela Mataji. After a long time, we are seeing you also. How was your husband's health? Okay, we cannot hear you, Mataji. You're on mute.
Mataji not able to see and not able to hear Neelam Mataji.
Yeah, she's on mute. Okay. Okay, maybe she has some problem with the mic. Okay, next time maybe Mataji, you can unmute and tell us how was your husband's health. Okay, hope that he can get well soon also. Okay, so next week we will not have program, not have this Gita class, because I will have my home program. Those who are in Chile, of course, invited. Please come and attend personally. And we will see you around for our next Saturday, but that is on the 25th of December. It's a Christmas. So I wanted to ask if it's okay on a Christmas to have our class. Does anybody have any inconvenience?
No, Mataji, I'm available.
Okay.
Mataji, we are
Me too.
traveling that day.
Oh, you're traveling to India?
Yeah, on 25th, yes.
Oh, okay.
So probably we'll just be on the flight. So
Oh, you'll be on the flight. You have an evening flight, is it?
I'm not sure, but we are traveling that day. So basically, we are occupied the whole day.
Okay. Yeah, actually, your mom was telling me that the day y'all are traveling is a Saturday, and when you return also it's a Saturday. So you will miss both the classes. But at least when you're in India, hopefully you can join us. Oh, but then this timing will not suit you. You will have to shift to slot 1 then from India.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So anyway, have a safe journey, Harman, you and your family. Come back
Thank you so
safely. Have a nice. You're going to Vrindavan. He's going to Vrindavan for the first time, Harman. So
Haribol.
Harman, pray for all of us.
Haribol.
Yeah, please,
Ki
please.
Jai. Bhakti Dev Sumati Sisi Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. Pray for all of us.
yes, Harman, you have to pray for all of
Please
us.
pray.
Please remember us in your prayers, please, in the holy Dham.
Yes, sure.
So lucky to go at this age.
Yeah. So come back safely, and as far as possible, even in India, please join us. Okay, in slot 1, I will see you around. All right.
Yes.
All right, all of you, take care. Have a nice.
I had one
Okay,
request
thank you so
before
much.
we end.
Thank you for the
Shila
class.
Prabhupada.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
I had one request before we end the call.
Yes, Shreya.
So on 20 December, it's my birthday. So I just
20th,
wanted to request
20?
20, yeah, because next week we don't have a class. So I just request all of you to bless me. Yeah, and hope this is my last word in this material world. So please. So
Yes,
bless me.
definitely. Let's chant for Shreya for her spiritual well-being, so that she is never born again, unless the Lord sends her on a mission to go out and preach. Then Shreya can come and deliver so many others. So let this be her last word, and with her, let her preach and inspire as many people as she can also, so that it's the last word for many people whom she's associating with. So let's chant for her. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Jai.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so have a nice birthday, Shreya, and send us your pictures. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday. Hari Hari Gaura.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank
Krishna
you
birthday in
so much.
advance.
Mataji,
Thank you.
next class, what date, Mataji? We can do in Shreya's birthday.
Shreya's birthday is on the 20th, right? 20.
It's Monday. Yeah.
It's
If
a
she's not
Monday.
outside.
Yeah, but it's on a Monday. We can
Yeah,
have
you
a
are.
Zoom session on her birthday, but we cannot, I don't think we can have a class because not everybody can join on a Monday, working day, no? So we can have a Zoom session maybe and we can wish her. At what time do you
That'll be
cut the cake, Shreya?
I don't cut cakes now. I don't know what's the plan this time. So there's no
Okay.
plan this time.
So what time suits you on Monday? Same time for everybody?
Yeah, anytime for everyone. Yeah, whatever time suits for everyone.
Okay, so Monday we'll join on a Zoom session to wish Shreya. Is that
And
okay?
if
Same time.
yeah, sure. And if anybody cannot make it, that's fine too. You know, we can compensate on 18th. We have a class on 18th, so that's fine too. Because it's a Monday, I know everybody would be busy, so that's okay.
Mataji, to go to Vrindavan, do you have OCI card or you're going on visa?
No, Harman has an OCI card
Okay.
and his mother is your mother an Indian passport holder? Oh, she also has an OCI.
OCI. Yeah.
Okay. So somebody told me that they are not accepting Pfizer in India. Those who are Pfizer vaccinated.
That is, I don't think so. But the only thing that I've heard is that that India is getting closed maybe until 31st January. So I don't know if we're actually gonna go or not. So
Yeah, things are very uncertain. But anyway, whatever is best plan is Krishna's plan. I mean,
Yeah.
Krishna's plan is the best plan. But hopefully, I'm sure you're going to,
yeah.
India, the
Yes.
land, Indian land itself is, you're always going to come back spiritually, what do you call it, charged up, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
By Bhakti Tulsi Maharani's mercy, you will sure enter Shridham Vrindavan Dham. By spiritual master, by Srila Prabhupada mercy, our Guru Parampara mercy, Panchatattva mercy, you will sure enter Shishi Vrindavan Dham.
Thank you,
You are
Mataji.
so sincere Vaishnava, sure enter by mercy of Bhakti Devi Srimati Sisi Tulsi Maharani. Please visit to Shishi Vrinda Kund also, all the place, Shishi Sham Kund, Shishi Radha Kund. Pray for all of us, sir. Please.
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
just gonna
Please
be there
pray
for
us.
2 days, but it is gonna be 2 good days. So
Yeah. Okay. So you go to Vrindavan for 2 days, you leave your heart in Vrindavan, then next time you'll want to go for more time and more time and more time.
yeah.
So,
Yes.
because once you go to Vrindavan, then your heart stays there. You don't want to come back.
Yeah.
All right. So see you all on 20th for Shreya's birthday and then for our next class on the 25th. Okay. Please take care.
Okay.
Have a nice
Thank you.
What time
Thank
would be that, Mataji? What time?
Same time as today's class.
Okay.
We will join. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Take care, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.